Hey, everybody out there. This is O with CLO Ed TV. Today, we got an important video to touch on. We got two parts to the video. The very first video, I'm going to show you projects that never made YouTube. What I mean by that, that's right. The projects that I did that never got recorded. And there's many more than these, but I wanted to show a small snippet to give you an idea of some projects I do outside of YouTube. The second half of the video, we got some serious topics to talk about on education, and we'll get into that later. So let's go ahead and get to the slideshow. All right, we're going to transition.
Well,
I
the main
really
Qual Hutch is done.
working with different projects like this,
Side
like
door
Qual Hutches and stuff like that. So this is just an example of one of the projects that I did here, which was a Qual Hutch. All right, and over here you can see that I'm building the legs in here. But as we go through this, I'm just going to highlight on a couple of things and then talk about different parts. Here is basically the completed part of it without the middle. It's got the paint on there and also the light installed. These are the plans I did initially, and I had to do everything to scale. I actually used Inkscape to produce the illustrations and drawings. Here I'm just doing one side, and it was really cool to actually build the sides and put it all together. I'd never done a project like this before, but I'm a brave type of guy, so I just jump in there and go for it. So here you can see sort of like me building the box around, and you just do one side at a time. What's actually on the sides is not really white paint, it's stain. Okay, now if you look here, you can see the doors on the side, and it's really cool, guys. I mean, I really enjoyed doing this project, and if I had to build a chicken coop or a Qual Hutch again, I could do it again. Let me see if there's any other parts in here. Okay, so you can see the front doors, the side doors. As you can see, there is a chicken wire there to keep the birds from going out. But yeah, there it is showing opening the door. That's me building the roof. And guys, this was overall a great project. Next project up is the DIY lathe. Okay. Now with this, I was always interested in lathe work, and one of the things I haven't done is like bowls or cups yet, but I do have the mounts and everything to do this. But before I got into all that, I wanted to try to make one from scratch, and that's what this project is here. So I took a drill motor and literally just mounted it to a piece of flat 2x4, and I 3D printed the mounts that hold everything together. Here's a result of what I actually turned with it. I turned a tiny little knob, and then from that point on, I was sold, guys. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and buy the actual machine. This is just a stick I had in the yard, and as you can see, it really worked. I used a chisel I bought from Harbor Freight. I just bought one chisel at the time, and I went ahead and just dug in, and I really naturally liked this. I made dowels with the lathe, and since then I really like my wind lathe. There's a video on YouTube that says how to make knobs out of wood, and you can see the lathe work there, so definitely check that video out. All right, the next project that didn't get recorded, ironically, and I use this a lot, is this right here. This is my Carve inventable CNC table. Now with the kits, you only get a 30 by 30, or which is almost 3 foot by 3 foot. But this one is, I believe, twice the size, or at least 4 times that. So it's about 4 feet long, and it's about 3 feet wide. So I got into drilling and tapping, did custom work, and just put everything I knew together naturally. So in actuality, if you see in this picture right here, is the power supply and the computer together. And in this picture, you see the whole table assembled together. So literally, I saved about half of the cost in this CNC by just salvaging wires that I found. So vacuum wires, old electronic wires, the materials that I found, I literally saved so much money. I 3D printed parts that were available on, Thingiverse. So guys, if you need something and you got a 3D printer, look on Thingiverse. It's probably there. Okay, so here's what's interesting about this picture right here. Let me go back to that, and I'm going to pause that. Let me see if I can go back to it. Okay, let me pause right here. In this particular part of the video, one thing you'll notice here is you'll see a pipe mounted through. That was my hinge mechanism to make it turn. And you can see on the right there's some casters. So this thing folds, it's on wheels, it stows away. I really enjoyed this project. Let me see what else I got. Oh, and if y'all have any questions about any of the projects that I'm going over in this video, leave them in the comments section below. Also, if you'd like to see a separate video on any of these projects, just let me know and I'll go over a video. Especially I can go over this table in detail since it's already finished and built. But yeah, I just used 2x4s and painted it up real nice, and I can demonstrate how it folds in a separate video. All right, now this is one of my most fun projects right here, and this is a DIY kayak build. Now, this is the K2 Explorer. It's a very affordable inflatable kayak, and this was my first time actually getting into the water with a kayak. I've always wanted a boat, but guys, I recommend if you on a budget and can't really get to buying a boat and paying for the license every year or the tags and the plates, go with a kayak, okay? But here you can see the center console being built. I actually use cutting boards from the Dollar Tree, guys, to do this. I used the Carve to build like the console pockets in the console. This is just the baseboard right here. I cut it by hand and use a router to round over the edges. This is a picture of the console being framed without those sides covering it up. And as you can see, the bucket seat is there and also another container. And guys, it's just been a fun project. You can see the board being assembled. I painted that bad boy up, got that thing in the water and had fun with it. I actually left some footage in one of my previous videos, a couple of them actually. So if you look into it, I think one of my videos says kayak fun or something build. Check that video out. You can see it in the water going. Here's the kayak deflated, and this was kind of in the beginning stages of the build, and I'm just getting a feel for it, where I want to lay out the console and everything. So I really enjoyed this project, guys. The last project I'm gonna go over in this video live is the battery holder. So let me transition over to that. This battery holder, guys, is for my wireless vacuum, my Hoover vacuum, and I wanted a neat solution to storing my batteries. Now, what's interesting about this project is it challenged my engineering skills. I had to manufacture something that fit another product made by another manufacturer. So this had to lock into the battery holder, and basically the lock mechanism had to fit perfectly. Also, the tracks where the grooves are to slide in, it had to fit in there. You had to be able to press the buttons and release it. So it took certain challenges. So I went into Blender, which is a free 3D modeling software, and took care of this bad boy. So if you want details on this project, I touched on 5 reasons why you should do 3D printing. But if you want to see a detailed video on how I make something like this, just let me know in the comments section. Now let's get down to business. So I went over those projects to show that I just have a genuine passion for creating things, and especially creating things from scratch. So I've always been the type to think of what you could do with something that somebody would throw away. And I was always fascinated with that. So I always carried that into part of my career, my decade career as an educator, as a public school educator. And the students that I had knew that I was passionate about what I did. And I also was passionate about a skill that I learned, because I learned how to survive from it since I was in high school. But that's a whole nother story in and of itself. Long story short, we got a video to watch, guys. Baltimore City, 21 public schools with students that are not proficient in math. 21 schools, guys. And I'm going to talk about some things that I know and experience at the end. But let's watch this video. And we got to dig into this, guys. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, here we go.
Baltimore City Schools reaches an alarming low in student performance.
It's Project Baltimore's Chris Papps has learned nearly half of high school students in Baltimore City this year earned a grade point average below a 1.
That's a shame.
They take.
When Giovanni Patterson ran for Baltimore City Council president last year,
Yet, despite the amount of money they get, we don't see much change.
he ran on a platform that included accountability and education.
Our schools outspend 97% of other major school districts.
And when Project Baltimore showed him how Baltimore City students have been doing this year,
This is terrible.
here is how he reacted.
This is just further perpetuating the cycle of poverty, blight, despair.
This chart was assembled by Baltimore City Schools and obtained by Project Baltimore. It shows the average GPA for every high school grade in the city, freshman through senior. In the first 3 quarters of this past school year, according to the chart, 41% of all Baltimore City high school students earned below a 1.0 grade point average.
Okay, so just let that translate. 41% earn below a 1.0. Means the kids aren't doing anything in school, and there's bunches of teachers, principals, everybody getting a check for this. Got to think about this, guys. Now, the money part of it, we're going to touch on that at the end, but I touched on it in this video here, and you can click on this campaign video for the CLO Academy. The state of North Carolina gets 10,000 students. $10,000 per student per year. Let that marinate. It only takes about 40 kids to make $1 million a year. What is your child learning? If you're a student watching this, what are you learning that will allow you to survive in society after you graduate? All right, let's get it back into the video.
In other words, nearly half of the roughly 20,600 public high school students in Baltimore earned less than a D average.
It's heartbreaking. If almost half of our kids are failing, what options do they have after high school? This is really disheartening. It's sad to see this, man.
On the other end of this chart, 21% of city high school students earned a GPA of 3.0 or better, a B average, about half as many who earned below a D. We can also see the district lost more than 700 high school students during the first 3 quarters of this year.
Okay, for those who don't know, that's called retention, okay? So if students are going missing, more than likely they either dropped out or, on a lesser case, they joined a private school, they transferred, or they're being homeschooled.
In January, City School CEO Dr. Sonia Santelises first sounded the alarm, saying the course failure rate for students had nearly doubled during the COVID shutdowns. A few months later, in May, North Avenue announced students would not be held back for failing classes. This most recent GPA data could show us why North Avenue made that decision. During the second quarter of the 2019-2020 school year, just before COVID hit, 24% of high school students had a GPA below 1. Now, it's 41%. City Schools declined an interview, but told us in a statement the COVID-19 pandemic created significant disruptions to student learning. Starting this summer and beyond, City Schools is providing students with a variety of opportunities to acquire the unfinished learning they lost.
It's not gone. It's not going anywhere.
City Council President Nick Mosby, who defeated Patterson in the election, is reportedly under investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice concerning campaign finances, business, and tax records.
So my question is, how long are we going to blame the pandemic for our educational failures? And can that be a crutch that our children, our kids, even our young adults lean onto when trying to make it out here in society? I'll pose that question. Let's continue.
Project Baltimore emailed and called Mosby's office, requesting an interview to discuss these numbers concerning student GPAs. We never heard back.
These people don't care, man. They come from the same environment. You know, Nick Mosby is a product of Baltimore City Schools. Brandon Scott's a product of Baltimore City Schools, and they see what's going on. But then when you bring this to them, they don't care. They don't care at all. You have to raise the standard. Everyone should be speaking out about this.
Project Baltimore reached out to the other school systems in our area requesting their GPA data. We were told by all of them that it's not readily available. I'm Chris Pabst, and this is Project Baltimore.
Okay, so I'm not going to make this live about me, but in my entire career, I knew what it took to get the results that you're looking for. I've certified many students. I've successfully educated with the skill they obtain, not just padding grades and doing all this stuff people do to pass kids along. I know what it takes for students to be successful in an educational environment. This is why I started CLO Education TV. This is why I started CLO Academy. And mark my words, the Academy will be open. The only question is, do you want to be a part of that? And so this video is not about my accomplishments and achievements. That's not important. What important is to figure out, is your child, or if you're a student listening, is your school worth the $10,000 a year you give them to attend that school? Are they preparing you to be a positive citizen in society, a capable citizen to survive in any given situation? Are they preparing you to whereas if you couldn't even get a check to survive and make your own check, to employ your own people, to start your own businesses? Are they preparing you? So that's what this video is about. CLO Education TV has gone over several projects from school, shoemaking, down to furniture making, down to programming and graphic design. So we touch on everything related to engineering and math. So here's the thing. I have support links in the description below. I also have this QR code, as you can see right there, to the CLO Academy campaign. Not to serve as competition to public education, but to serve as a complement to assist students in after-school learning and also programs that could be implemented towards all sorts of homeschooling, private and public school. So, although I have means and methods, which I will not discuss publicly, where I'm getting support, it hits different when you know that those will support you. So guys, if you don't support your interests, you can't be a part of it. So that's my passion. I want to see people successful and happy and enjoy and loving what they do. So that is why I started this. And I will continue to do this with every effort of my being. CLO Academy will continue. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. If you can support, there are two ways to support. Let me show you one. You can go to here, which is my donor box link. And donor box is a credible donation platform. You can go online, and if you don't know anything about it, you can go on there and start your own donor box campaign. But here I have a donor box link in the description. You can go there and support. Any given amount will be appreciated. Also, you can also, if you want to support the channel directly, you can hit the Cash App at the below, or you can actually go to CLO Learn Shop, purchase a book, which is individual publications, magnets, stickers, t-shirts. There's tons of stuff on there, games and much more, and there's more to come. So guys, listen, I really appreciate you guys. I'm about to enjoy watching Creed. I went ahead and got my tickets, and I'm about to enjoy that. And guys, hopefully you enjoy your weekend. And we're going to touch more on public education, some of the needs. Hopefully I'll do a live. We'll have a live conversation to get some of these problems solved, guys. But I'm out of here. And look, I'm going to enjoy my weekend. You guys enjoy your weekend. Always appreciate you. Thank you for allowing us to hit 13,000 views on my CLO Pixel Gamers channel, and we're approaching 10,000 views on this channel. And I appreciate you guys and every one of you for supporting me. All right, take care. Y'all have a great weekend. I'll see you on the next one.